start.
We're gonna talk about today the whole market, how it's switching from digital to from physical to digital, right? So everything changed now. So every single game these days now, we're just having to buy digital games, and that's not a good thing these days because one thing is that people are not really gonna own the game anymore, so they can't resell them, they can't get rid of them anymore. Back then, we all could get rid of our games if we don't want them, let people borrow them, whatever. And these days now, we just kind of have like a subscription in a way you could say that, because if you don't physically own it, you don't really own it. You know, they kind of own
Yeah.
the whole rights to the game, and you can't really do anything about it. You might get a cheaper price on it sometimes, but you won't really own the game entirely. You know, so
Well, even to that point too, is games, they're losing a lot of cost to do a digital format of that, and yet they don't pass on that savings to the consumer, which is kind of my gripe with everything being digital, is you get to get the same quality of game more or less. But you're not there's no cost of like the plastic case, there's the printing, all the cost that goes into a physical game that goes out. The companies are not taking on those expenses with digital releases, and yet you're still paying the same as if you were buying it at the physical copy of the game. So it's like you would think if they're saving all that money on packaging and the marketing and all that stuff, that they could sell the games at a cheaper price, but they don't. And that's kind of my biggest gripe with it. I like being able to download digital, but then what comes with that is that you have to start eventually either deciding what games you want to keep on your hard drive when your space gets full, and like have to make sacrifices and delete games and stuff, or have to take on more expensive, more investment in extra storage in the form of solid state drives or whatever like that. So I mean, there's some pros and cons to the digital format of games, but I mean, like you said, it was back in the day you could buy a game, you could loan it out to a friend, or sell it secondhand, and with the digital, that's kind of going away. And yeah, kind of like you're saying too, it's like a subscription more so, especially if you're paying for the pass, the Xbox
oh yeah,
Game Pass, which I think is a great value in itself because you have so much access to so many games that you maybe would never actually play because like, oh, that could be fun, but I'm not going to spend $20 on this game and find out it's shit. Sorry, I don't know if I can cuss.
You could cuss. You could just say whatever you want.
Okay, yeah. So I think it's cool in that aspect, and you can try so many different games. But like you said too, like at the end of the day, if you let that pass lapse, all those games are gone. And you don't own anything at the end of the day. So I mean, it's definitely an interesting industry now. It's a lot different than it used to be. But I don't know what do you think about it?
I mean, I think it sucks for one reason, and that's what I just recently experienced, and I told you guys about it, about Steam, that they kind of have the whole control on the digital market, and it's like it fucking sucks because you can't play none of those games offline. If you try playing any of those games offline, maybe if you're disconnected while you're playing it, maybe it still lets you play it. But if you try playing any of those games offline, you can't play them. So if the internet goes out, what could always be a chance for that. It could be rain, thunder, whatever. Let's just say you're fucking bored as hell or something, or you want to play, I don't know. Let's just say you only have a PC and you have controllers in your house, and that's just kind of what you play with your family or friends or whatever. Yeah. You can't even play with them because there's no internet. You're fucked, So that's one bad thing about having digital games, at least on Steam, because on the Xbox, on the other hand, I can't speak for like PS, Sony, I don't know about how it works with them, but on Xbox you can still play them offline. Unless the game is online, you can't play it. But for the most part, you can still play the games offline. So that's a good thing, at least for the digital side on the Xbox. So what I just started doing is, when I realized this most recent, I just started buying games from the Microsoft, because at that point, if I can't get them if I'm gonna get a digital game, I'm like I can still play it at least on the Xbox, right? And my PC if it's like what is that called, cross-play platform, where you can still own it on the PC as well and the Xbox, the same
Oh
game.
yeah.
So yeah, so that was just the good thing about that, and the bad thing still about it is that, like I said, you don't own the damn game, so you kind of fucking you're pretty much fucked. Like you buy for either full price or cheap price or whatever, and the only way you could either play it somewhere else is like put it on a USB or whatever hard drive and put it somewhere else, you know. So you don't really you run out, like you were saying, you run out of space. That's one big issue, you know, most of the time. So you end up spending more money on freaking more hard drives and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
on the physical copy, at least you could just fucking put it away and that's it on the side. It may take like
Yeah.
physical room, like your space around you, but fuck that compared to having no space and re-downloading and deleting shit. It's kind of it kind of gets annoying because these games are not small anymore. They're like 100+ gigs now
Yeah.
at the minimum now. So you do
Yeah.
get like sure what 30-40 gigs games, but with all these updates they add to them sometimes too, it just they pile up into like 100 gigs already. So it's you do run out of space really quick. So that's one thing I'm not like really excited about this whole thing that people are buying more digitals, and the you know how they try doing a whole digital system. Like that's a bad thing, you know. Like what do you do when you have a digital system? So if you had you do have an Xbox Series X, right? So let's just say you didn't have an Xbox Series X and you just had an Xbox S, right? Series S. What would you do with the games that you bought now, and like how would you feel about it? Not having
Because the S doesn't have a drive, right? It's all digital.
yeah, it's all digital. No, you can't even put a game in
Okay.
there, nothing.
Oh yeah.
How,
Yeah. So
how does it feel? But
I mean, it feels like you need to go out and buy a Series X.
because like
That's
um
what it feels like.
because you know like I just recently bought a computer like a few years back, right? And I was very
Mm.
confused because I haven't had a PC since the days when you used to actually put a disc in there, you know. So I was
Yeah.
so confused, like, oh shit, where the hell is the where you put the game at? You know, it's like, oh, everything's digital. I was like, fuck, what the fuck, you know? So it's like
Yeah.
how do you like feel, because you've been having a PC for a while, so how do you feel from you having a digital Xbox, but even though you have a PC that can't play physical copy
Yeah.
games?
Well, that's the interesting thing because I'm not sure when Steam started doing that. Because before I got my current PC that I have right now, I had a gaming laptop, um, and I could play games offline. In fact, I did a lot because when I first got that computer, I was too broke to pay for internet, so I didn't have internet. I would go to the cafes and install stuff, and then I would just play. I would go and play. I go on family vacations and ride in the back and play like Counter Strike against bots offline and stuff like that. So I don't know when Steam started doing the not being able to play at all without an internet connection because that's kind of lame because that's how primarily how I played for a while up until I got my actual gaming PC here. But I mean, yeah, that's definitely. I mean, it wouldn't be as big of a problem if that wasn't the case. You know, if you could play your games offline like how I used to, then I mean, we might be having a different conversation. But and yeah, I don't know. I feel like that was one of the big sellers to me for the Series X. Is like, oh, if I went out and saw, if I went to like, because there's like a little secondhand store here where I live. They sell all sorts of old gaming stuff,
Oh,
and
that's
like they
cool.
have old Xbox 360
Oh
games and
damn, that's
stuff like
awesome.
that. So if I found a game that was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
that game's sick, I remember that, I could go buy that and
yeah,
pop it in the console. Whereas with the S, I wouldn't be able to do that.
yeah,
So
exactly. You're
yeah,
stuck.
and you're stuck.
The funny thing
Yeah,
about that is that Xbox doesn't give you all the digital games, even though they pop up on the list. It won't. It'll say not available. So what you have to do, you'll have to own a Xbox 360, download it over there first. If you
what?
yeah, so you have to own it on a 360, and then you could download it on their Xbox. So if you don't own it on your 360, if you don't have access to a 360, and it's a back, even though it's a backwards compatible game, you cannot still download it digitally on the Xbox. So that's kind of a glitch on their side on that point. It's kind of dumb, but
Yeah, that
it sucks
sounds.
for a lot of people that do have a S and they're fucked on that part. So yeah, whoever has a S, I mean, you're
Your
screwed.
SOL.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah.
screwed on that for sure.
Xbox SOL.
Yeah, that's why I never really was not really too happy about that. You know, they could have, to be honest, they could have put a fucking this drive on that so they could fucking play games. They didn't have to make a Xbox. They only did it
Digital.
purposely, obviously, purposely. They did the X for
Yeah.
this because obviously they know that it's gonna make more money and they're gonna make it more powerful. Oh yeah, this has an extra, you know, it's more powerful and you can play your games on it. You still disc and all that shit, right?
Mm.
But so I mean, I'm pretty sure they did it on purpose. But the whole point of all this is that you can't own any physical copies now. Now the physical copies are actually getting more expensive, just like everything always gets more expensive. The old stuff, even all those fucking N64 games is physical copies. They're all went up, skyrocket $100 with not no fucking case or nothing, just
Ooh.
pure caca fucking cartridge in your fucking hand. You know, you use that shit as a fucking weapon and shit. You know, like that's what you have. Nothing at all. It's like $100. I guarantee you. Go look at stores. You might get lucky to find it a little cheaper than that, but still, like most of these games are really popular that people want. Still, you're gonna find it
Have that
when
nostalgia factor about them right now
yeah,
too. Like
and
people our age and stuff like that's like, oh man, those are the games I had as a kid, and people capitalize on that because they're like, oh, these suckers will pay anything for this nostalgia piece, you know?
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's always mostly about like to me at least when I used to collect a physical game, I'll be like, okay, I gotta check if it's not scratch. I gotta check if the instruction books in there. Even though you're not gonna read the instruction book, but you just had that better feeling of buying the game and reselling it
It's
again because
complete.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, there also people won't give you money for it if you try to sell it. Oh, is the instruction book on there? Even though like half the people don't even read that shit, they just probably just play the game. You know, so it's like yeah, it's crazy, you know, because Xbox started doing that when they stopped giving out the instruction books probably like about 2 3 years ago. I want to say something like that, maybe longer. I don't know, maybe even further back. But I remember when they used to give out the instruction books on each games, you know, that will always look cool because you always, when you open it, you see the game, the instruction books on there, right? So when you didn't see any instruction book on there, it'll be always weird, you know, but like, hey, where's the instruction book?
yeah.
Like, it's not
Makes people
complete,
stole the
right?
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I mean, that's
yeah.
something that,
They even have the little like the hooks for putting a booklet in there, but there's nothing in
yeah,
there.
exactly. I don't even know why they still have it, you know? Like,
Yeah,
are you gonna
well, that's
make,
another thing. Kind of like what I was to my point is like that's another thing that they're saving money on is printing of the little booklets.
yeah,
They're not doing that obviously for cost savings, or who's getting the benefit of that cost savings? It's
yeah,
not the consumer.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
the whole point is that they're gonna pretty much make money off of you, and regardless, you're not gonna own the damn game, right?
yeah,
Even though like you may feel like you own the game, but you really don't, you know? Because like I said, it's
yeah,
like a subscription. Like if you think about it, you know, what about if you don't fucking if you don't download the game, right? There's no way for you to play it. Like on you could uninstall the game on physical copy, you still own the game, right? So it's just
mm-hmm.
like if it's not in your hard drive, you don't see it. Oh fuck, I don't have that game. But like most of my games, I can't install them because it takes way too much space, right? It's kind of
Yeah,
ridiculous. Like I won't be able to install all my games I have in there, so I don't have all my games on my list, you know. So it's like that's one thing where they're trying to like now make people buy more digital since like people are like we're so I feel like we're so blinded right now, to be honest. A lot of people are so blinded by this, and sooner or later people are right now, I think they're just starting to realize that right now, but like wait a minute, like I don't really own this game, you know, like what the fuck, you know, why should I even buy digital anymore, you know? It's like why am I even having a Xbox S or whatever, you know, to I can't even know, or like why am I buying games off of Steam now, like why do I keep buying them if I don't even own them? So it's like
mm-hmm.
it, you know, it's not a good feeling, you know, not owning something when you fucking pay your hard work money and everything for that shit. You bust your ass to just buy that 60 $50 game or whatever it was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, what's your take on like still owning games right now for you for on your Steam, all those games that you own? Let's just say for you, how do you feel about it right now if you
Well, I have a shitload of games, so knowing that I can't actually play them in a situation where maybe I don't have internet, I mean, it's honestly going to be very, very rare where I won't be connected to some kind of form of internet. But I should have that ability, in case, I don't know, maybe a car down the road runs into a power line or something and then knocks my internet out for months out on it. I'm screwed. Then I have this product that I should have access to because I paid the money for it, but I'm not able to use it. That's frustrating. I feel like where the gaming industry is at with this digital conversion here is quite similar to what we've seen with like the music industry, where it used to be like tapes and CDs. Where you go to the store and buy a CD, and then you actually own the physical copy of this music, right? Everything, for convenience sake, you're switching to a subscription model with like Spotify or Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, and it's like you're paying this money for all this music. Yeah, it's cool. You have access to stuff that maybe you wouldn't listen to, on or have, you never would have found it by going to a store and buying the CD or whatever. But it's like once you stop paying for that subscription, you don't own that music. You can't listen to that music anymore, like ad free or anything. You are literally borrowing, you're renting music. And that's kind of where we're at with the games now too. The physical copies are going away. You're not having actual physical disc or cartridge or whatever it is, and we're all dependent on an internet connection now at this point.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was back in the day with music, as another back to that example, is you could pop in a CD in a CD player without internet and still listen to it, or on a vinyl or a tape player. Like, so I mean, it's just kind of like
the Walkman, right? The Walkman.
It's a Walkman.
Yeah.
Exactly. Back in my day.
Yeah. Or MP3 players where you play put all your music.
MP3.
Yeah.
Even MP3, as digital as that is, it's like at least you don't need an internet connection to enjoy the music that you've purchased and put on there.
Yeah.
I just think we're at that turning point with the gaming industry now that music had seen, a decade plus ago. And it's just everything switching to subscription based, and I personally hate the shit out of that. Like when I see like an app or something that's like kind of a cool thing to do, like for like editing something up for like, pictures for my streaming or my channels or something like that. Everything is like, oh, try for 7 days free and then X amount per month. Like, dude, I would rather just pay way more money one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a perpetual license of something.
Yeah.
I would pay a lot of money for that if I only had to pay it once.
Exactly, because they're gonna rip you off. They're gonna rip you off at the end.
Yeah.
The whole point is to keep making you pay that monthly payment, so they could make trillions of dollars off of you. Yeah, that's.
But it's like to the point where subscription model has been so normalized now.
Yeah, it's normal. Subscribe
included. I do it. I'm a sucker. I mean, it's like what option do you have now? Like if you want to enjoy,
that's the thing.
Amenities, like you have to play the game. You have to play their game because that's you by the balls.
Well, that's the thing. Like if people don't fight for it now, or they say anything about it, don't do anything about it now, it's just gonna become a normal thing where it's gonna be what's called it's gonna be no longer existed anymore. So it's like we gotta make a change but try to buy physical copies of games now these days as much as possible. If we don't have a choice, I get it, but like. That's what I was saying. On the PC side, they're kind of screwed on that side because there's no physical copies on the PCs. I don't know how long it's been like this, but there's no such thing as a physical copy. So I guess the best choices you can do, buy it off a website where you don't have to depend on Steam and just not rely being connected to the internet while playing that damn game. As long as like you have it, at least it's digital, whatever, right? You can't really do shit on the computer these days because that's just kind of what it is now. But imagine if even the consoles are like that these days. It's gonna suck. Like if you think about it, you're just gonna have all these hard drives. You're never gonna see the physical copy of the game anymore in your eyes. You're like, oh, I have all these games, but they're all here on these hard drives.
It's all ones and zeros.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no art on the booklet. There's
no
case art. It's just
that, huh?
It's interesting. It's
Special edition. Hey, you're gonna get the special edition case or whatever.
yeah,
None of that shit. None of
exactly.
that. It's crazy how it's just
Man,
changed.
oh, I saw a meme that reminds me of too, and it was like talking about how like it was a comparison of like midnight releases like back in the day versus midnight releases now, and it was like everyone like with the line standing out the door of the GameStop, like everyone's super stoked and like ready to get their physical copy, and then you have the midnight release now, and it's just like an install bar. Just like
That's
man,
funny.
I mean, I don't know. Like I always liked going to midnight releases. Like everyone's all hyped
Oh
on the same game.
shit.
Like you have this sense of community that everyone's there for the same reason, and
But
just everyone's
that
stoked to get this new game that's dropping. And
yeah, that's the
those fun
problem now,
times,
right?
man.
That's the problem now. You can't do that. You can't do that
Just a
anymore.
whole other way how we're being isolated from other people. You know, even though we have the internet that's supposed to connect everybody, it's like we're more alone now than we ever had been. Like you don't see people doing LAN parties anymore. Like
Oh
everyone's just
man,
playing
that was fun.
by themselves in a room with other people, but you're still at the end of the day alone in a room.
Yeah,
You know, it's just
it was cool.
it's
Did you ever
yeah.
go to those like computer places as well?
I didn't go to like cafes or anything like that, but like my brother-in-law, he was going to college, university, in Nebraska, and I was just like 11, 12 years old or something, and I went and visited him because him and my sister were going to school there, and he would take me to their LAN parties. We would play Counter Strike. I was like this 11-year-old kid, like one shotting a bunch of college kids that are like, "Hey, who just killed me?" And I'm just like,
Yeah, it was
but it was
fun.
just so fun, like having
Yeah.
everyone in the same room and like getting that reaction when you kill someone. Like you get to witness the rage in person and just feed off of that energy. And then yeah, like it's just going to LAN parties like that. It's so much fun, and like you would order food and get a bunch of pizza and drinks and stuff, and just I don't know. It was a different time back then, and I miss those times. You know,
So
and just with the conversion of everything going digital, like everyone's just getting as gaming communities just getting like further and further ripped apart, and I don't know. I just want to have a LAN party. Let's have a LAN party.
yeah, those were really fun. I used to go to cafes and do those gaming cafe places. Those were really fun. And it was cool because like you had like I guess like you could get a shake there and stuff like that as well, like a
Oh
drink and
yeah,
all that, like your snacks and all that. I mean, they make money off of you, of course, but it was just pretty
oh
cool
yeah,
still, you know. It was just
oh
fun, you
yeah,
know, having that
yeah.
before. Like you don't get that anymore, so there's no like social interaction. Like you can't even talk to anybody in front of you. It's just all like fucking cameras and everything, right? So it's just the
Yeah.
same thing they're trying to sell you now these days on the digital market. It's just like you're not gonna own anything, pretty much. You know, just gonna
Mm-hmm.
subscribe.
You're
And
gonna
I
keep
was,
paying the money. You're just not gonna own shit.
yeah. There's also I just thought about it right now, or I forget. It was you know, the EA and who else? Is it Ubisoft or that they have subscriptions also on the side on their part?
Hmm.
Did you know
Like
that?
similar to Game Pass.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
But those are just
I
subscriptions.
haven't heard about
You
it.
don't even own any of that. Like digitally own at least, you know? You don't even own any of that stuff. It's just a subscribe you subscribe to, I think it's Rockstar too, I believe it was Rockstar, if I'm not mistaken. Rockstar has also like a subscription thing, I believe. Uh
So we get Rockstar subscription before GTA 5 or GTA 6.
it,
That's fucked.
yep. So if you want to have play any of those games, you gotta make sure you subscribe, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Just what it is now. So it's like
That's
subscribe
how they're
this,
gonna
subscribe
fund.
that. Yep.
That's how they're gonna fund GTA 6. All subscription.
Yeah, it's just pretty bad now for all the not physical, but you know the whole point I was trying to talk about this because I think people should now buy physical copies on the at least on console, I guess, you know, on console, or try to make your best decision. If you don't own any console, at least on PC, try to buy it from like a different website or something, you know, where you could actually still own the game and still play it offline and all that. Because at least, you know, think about it, like who owns that market on PC? You know, who
Mm,
owns it? Steam.
yeah. It's Steam.
Where
Yep.
do you get your
I mean, you
games?
have like Epic Games and you have
Yeah, but how many Epic
Ubisoft, all
games
that,
you
but
really
they
get?
ain't shit.
Yeah,
They ain't
exactly.
shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
Steam is the top dog, obviously.
yeah, exactly. And then it's like,
Probably will always be, but
so before you load a game, you gotta open Steam, right? It'll still open Steam regardless, even in the background,
yeah,
right?
that's true. Yep,
So you can't really. That's crazy though.
can't
Isn't
avoid
that
it.
crazy?
Yeah, I mean,
Think about it.
I've been on Steam since it came out, so like, I don't know. I'm not. It's so normal to me, I guess, but just like I don't know. I'm used to it, but knowing now that you can't even play a game without being online, that doesn't sit right because it's like
But I think also because you haven't, well, you had consoles but you didn't really play them. You only play on PC,
mhm,
right? So I guess you didn't really see that side of it. But I guess people that do play
yeah,
consoles still, and you know, own physical copies still, and still buy physical copies these days, they could tell. It's like, wait a minute, what? Like,
yeah,
I don't own this shit. Like, I just have it as digital now. It's like, and Steam fucking has me by the balls and shit. It's like, the fuck? It's like, what is this shit? You know? It's like, it's fucking, it sucks, you know? So it's like,
yeah,
you know, what's, what can you do about it? And hopefully, maybe we'll try to find next time, or if we do ever talk about this or whatever, or if I do find some links on like where you can buy games and stuff like that. Maybe I could link them up even here on the podcast as well, because they'll put like, I could put a link down below, so I could probably put it up. They'll probably like help people as well, you know. So because a lot of people don't know, they don't know like where to buy games. Where do you buy PC games on digital? Like where? Like I only know like you said, Epic, Steam, and Microsoft. That's the only places I know, and I'm sure there's
yeah,
hundreds are out there, you know, of websites that you could probably get them for even cheaper, you know. And
yeah,
as for them for PC, but like for at least for the consoles, as we still have a chance of still keeping these digital games going. And at least if even if you have to pre-order the game, I'm fine with that. I just don't find it fair that they want to cut off all digital games and they want to make gonna go. They're trying to go back to all digital, no disc or nothing, you know. So that's just like that's not what I want, you know. I don't want to own
mhm,
something like that. So we gotta make sure we try to make a difference and trying to change this, you know, because if we don't do anything about it, we're just all gonna be subscribe this, subscribe that, all that bullshit,
mhm.
you know. So we're gonna end up like Steam. It's just other words,
Yeah.
you know.
Plus, it's gonna end up like the streaming services, like oh, you have to get Hulu for this show, or you have to
Yeah,
so
that
be like
sucks. Yeah, that
I have to
sucks.
get this game only through Ubisoft, and I can only do this one through Steam or
Yeah,
this one through Epic, and
yep,
like yeah, I mean that's a slippery slope for sure.
yeah. So that's
I think
that's the thing. Like, what I mean,
anyone wants that.
most games, regardless, you'll just buy them off of Steam, right?
I'm probably gonna continue to buy on Steam,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like,
despite
it's
this conversation.
well, you don't have a choice, do you? Do you really have a
I
choice?
mean, not really. No, I mean,
Yeah,
like you said, if you want to like do the research and go and try to find it
I'm
somewhere,
pretty sure you can find it, but
yeah.
if you don't do the research, you probably end up in
I
the
think
same.
the last physical PC game I bought was the Orange Box. You remember the Orange
Oh
Box?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You still have
Yeah,
it?
Half Life 2. I do. I still have the box. I actually have it in the other room right
Oh,
now.
crazy.
It's got the Half Life 2 bundled with Portal and Team Fortress 2.
Oh
I
wow.
think that was one of the last physical copies of a PC game I bought, and that was a long time ago.
Is that the last time they made a physical copy?
It probably is.
Yeah. And that was like what,
Could be.
2020 what?
Oh, probably 2000. I
2009
don't know.
or no?
Let's see, let me see. When did the Orange Box debut? I can pull that up right now.
They came out for the 362, but I can't really
Yeah,
speak for
2007.
2007.
Yep.
Damn.
I
If
was
that was
just
the last
graduating high school.
if that was the last physical copy, that's gonna be sad for
Yeah.
PC.
Yep.
So after that, it was all digital, huh?
Hmm.
Like,
And
hey,
even with that, it like still had to sync to Steam. So
I know. That's
I mean,
the
I have the physical disc at least, but the CD key is all tied to my Steam account and everything.
damn.
So
So even wait,
yep.
so if you wait a minute. So if you have the physical copy, you still have to be signed into Steam. Is that what you're saying?
It sounds like it apparently because it's linked to my Steam account now. Because when you install it, it puts like the files on your computer and all that, but to run it, it loads it through Steam.
So do they own the rights to it?
Well, they own the rights to that game because Valve owns Steam and they developed Orangebox. They're the publisher for it. So
Oh fuck. So they have all the
yeah.
rights to Counter
Oh yeah.
Strike?
Yep. As far
Makes
as I know.
sense. That makes sense.
Yep.
Because there's another one where is it called StarCraft? That's what's it called? Battle.net? I don't know. What is it? Where you download that?
Oh, Battle.net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't. You don't have to. You can still play that offline. So that's a good
Okay.
thing. That's cool. You
Yeah.
know. You don't
I mean, I
have to.
think if you have discs of those older games, obviously, if you have like if you own them, if you own the copies now, I'm sure you can still. But then again, maybe not because they have
Well, I don't think they
stopped
even made it
supporting it.
anymore. Yeah, I don't think they even made. I have not ever seen a copy of any of the games that I even have on my 360 for the PC. I have not seen any of those. I always see like Command and Conquer, all these fucking old ass games.
Yeah.
You know, I see them at the
Yeah.
stores, but I don't ever see any of the newish games like the Orange Box. Even that's even though it's not considered brand new, but still, like I don't see any of those games really
Mm-hmm.
in physical copies at any of these gaming stores, you know. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know, like can you find any of these actually there? Do they even make them digital? Is there a way? Because I mean, they just have to put it in a disc technically, right? They just got to put it on a disc.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's somebody out there that still makes these games and maybe they just put them on
Sure, if
disc
it's
or
like an
something.
offline game, like single player ones, you could definitely have like you don't have to have like the online support that you would for like a multiplayer platform. You know,
Yeah.
if it was an old single player, I think, or not even an old single player, but just a single player game, you don't need to have like a third party to operate it and all that, like the servers and all that.
Oh, crazy.
I don't know. I haven't been looking either, but I also haven't like consciously remember seeing any discs or anything for PC games because I mean the way they're making PCs, they don't even have drives. Mine doesn't have a drive at all. It doesn't have a CD-ROM
Oh
drive,
wow.
so yeah, it's all it's all digital too, I guess.
Yeah, so I'll say I guess your take what is your take from now on, like if you have the ability to buy a physical copy or not?
I probably still buy digital. No, I
No.
mean just because no, that's not the answer. It's not the takeaway. No, I mean I don't know. Like for me, like it is a convenient thing to not have an actual physical thing to have to store. But I don't know. Like I said, like for me, it's like I can't imagine a whole lot of situations like for me because I have a lot of games through Steam and stuff. I
Well, if you still own a console though, that's at least
I
like
do.
on that side.
Yeah.
What will you do? Will you still buy digital? Will you
Console.
still buy
I think I will because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it actually installs quicker anymore. It used to be that like the Xbox, like you could install the files and
it's
run
a
it
lot
instantly
faster.
for
It's a lot faster when you do have the disc because it just
it still
first
is that way.
yeah, so what it does, it
Okay.
installs the game. So one good thing is that you don't have to be connected to the internet when you
Yeah.
install it. So that's a good thing. Another thing is when you do install a game, it depends on your internet, right? All relies on
Yeah.
your internet, how fast it is, and all that bullshit. Your
Yeah.
cables, if it's connected directly on Wi-Fi and all that, you know. So
Yeah.
it does install a lot quicker. So that's a good thing about having the physical copy as well, you know. You get to install
Mm-hmm.
it, have it, download it quick, and time to play it. You know, so
Yeah.
like, so what's your take? Would you still buy disc?
For console, I think I definitely like, especially if we're looking at like throwback games. Like if I want to find like an old 360 game, like I actually was thinking about, I was like, man, I regret getting rid of all like my Rock Band and Guitar Hero shit.
Oh
And
man,
like that shit sounds so
shit.
fun, especially now
Yeah.
that like I don't know, in the streaming world now, like, oh, that'd be a fun thing to stream. But DMCA is a bitch too. But um, I don't know. I think it'd be fun to find those games
Oh
again and
hell yeah.
be
Like
able to play
that's the
those.
thing. Like now, like what I just recently bought one of the Batman games because I bought mistakenly recently, and this was before when I realized like, hey, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I still buying these digital games, on my Xbox, you know? And I bought one of the last ones I
Badly.
know. One of the last ones I bought was Batman, the last Batman, whatever they made. Arkham, Return Arkham, whatever it's called. Sorry, I don't remember the name. So many fucking damn Batmans. And I bought that one because it was like $6 or something. I was like, oh hell yeah, great deal, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't come with one of the Batmans, and one of the Batmans is, I think, for the 360. You can't buy it digital on the Xbox, like I was telling you. Some of these games you can't buy them digital, so you don't have a choice but to own a 360 or to buy the actual physical game, and then buy it through there. Because if you have a 360, you go on the Xbox market through there, I think, and you buy it through them. But most of the
It's a
market,
different like store and everything.
yeah, it's a different store.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a very downgraded store, but yeah, yeah,
Very antiquated.
it's a whole different store. It's just an Xbox 360 store. So any of the
Yeah.
digital games right there, and I'm also tempted to buy this one game that I've been wanting to get. It's called Gun. Have you ever played it?
Oh, gun,
Yeah, so I
dude.
was so
That was
tempted to
like,
buy it on the
oh,
360
that's a good
digital,
game.
but I was like, fuck no, I gotta go buy it at the store. I was like, and the only place that has it is GameStop that I found online. So I was like, I'm gonna go buy it. Even if I get it shipped out here, I might drive a little further just to fucking go buy it at the store, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
go buy it. I was like, no, I can't do that shit to myself, buy it fucking digital. I was like, hell no. What am I doing? It's like no.
Dude,
So
that
I'm
was
gonna
such a good
I
game.
did give in. I'm not gonna lie. I did give in on this one game. It was Sonic.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta make a compromise.
I know it sucks, but it
You gotta
wasn't
have
for
your
me.
morals and stick to them, but sometimes you got
It wasn't for me, so
gotta
it's like
sacrifice that.
that's why I bought it. It was for my son, so it was like a
Yeah.
Sonic Unleash.
Oh,
So
okay.
he really wanted that game, so I was like, oh fuck, I can't get it. I was like, I'll just buy it digital, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but what I'm trying to do now, from now on, just buy all digitals. So it's like I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, having an Xbox Live account, it's cool and everything, but the downside about having an Xbox Live account is that if you don't have what is that called? If you don't have live, you can't play, right?
Right.
So
Not online, at
yeah,
least.
you can't
No
play
like
online,
multiplayer.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can still play your games if you have them disc or whatever. Still. And I'm pretty sure you
Mm-hmm.
can still play them on most of the digital games, except some of these games they used to give away for free. It says you must have gold to play these games, even if they give them away for free. So they started doing that shit.
That's how they get you.
Well, they started doing that at towards the end when they were like, "Oh, no more digital free games. That's it. We're cutting it off. We
Mm,
give away too many free games," and it's all good, whatever, right? But
yeah.
they now they have that on some of these games. So
Yeah.
especially the games that are not like original, they're not the games that are just like Xbox One and Xbox Series games. Those games for sure
Mm-hmm.
you have to have gold. Some of those games to play them, some of them, and some of them. Most of the 360 games you don't have to have any gold. So that's the cool part about it. That you still download that 360 digital game, and it's free, and you don't have to have gold. So I
Yeah,
mean,
PlayStation did a thing like that back when I was playing the PS4. If you were a Plus member, each month they'd give you a few free games to download, and as long as you downloaded them within that month, you get to keep them, regardless of I think I think regardless of your subscription status. Well, it's kind of a shitty way to do it for Xbox on that front, but I guess that's how they keep you paying for gold. It's like, yeah, it's a free game, but there's an asterisk there. You have to still pay for the gold to use it, because that's still their leverage of, it's free, but is it really free?
Yeah,
It's just like
exactly.
a subscription to play that game, which is basically what the Game Pass is now.
Yeah, I mean,
In a different
the only thing about
way.
good thing about not have, oh, I guess like there's two sides of it, right? If you have too many games, like me, you don't need a Xbox fucking Game Pass, right? But if you don't have a lot of games and you're just a person that don't really buy games and just kind of plays, it's a good thing to have it, because it benefits you having playing on the PC also as well. You could play PC games on there, and you could play on your Xbox, and also on your, if you have the other pass, Ultimate, whatever the fuck, I don't know if they changed the name on it, but you can play on your phone too, right? So there's a good thing about that. But for most people that just really want to play the game and they like to just buy games and play them, for the most part, we don't need it, so that's why. And then they give you a good benefit of it because they give you part of the past games. Some of the past games they let you play it on just on the regular, called Core, whatever the hell it's called. Core, I believe. That's what it's called. It's not called Gold anymore, it's called Core, right? If I'm not mistaken. And so they let you play some of these games that are on the Game Pass. Not a lot, that's not a big list, but at least it's pretty cool. You get to play some games at least from the past, So there's a good thing about it. But I mean, from my side, my take on all this shit is make sure you try to buy digital games from now on as much as possible as you can to support not the digital games, sorry, the physical games, not the digital games, the physical games.
I was like, we flipped our
no, the physical games. To buy talking about some digital this, digital that. Fuck, I'm already saying digital. The physical copy of games disc. You try to buy them because that market's gonna always be good because people go always resell them. It's gonna be more expensive, of course, because they don't make them anymore. But if we continue still to buy these digital games, they're gonna stop making them, period, and they're gonna be like gold, as they are starting to be right now. The prices are starting to go up on all those, So we need to make sure we keep buying physical copies of these games as much as possible as we can, or make the best choices. At least if you just own a PC, make the best choices. Try not to buy it off of Steam. Try to buy it somewhere else if you don't have a choice. But yeah, that's my whole take.
Your dollar is your voice, and if you continue to go down the path that they want to, then they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
As long as people are going to keep paying for something, they're going to keep doing it.
Exactly. Whatever brings in the money, right? Whatever brings in the money. That's all they care about. So yeah, we can make a change on this at least, So like I said before, I will put, if I find any links, I will post them down below on this podcast. And to see if you guys don't know anywhere where to buy games, I'll try to find out the best websites and safest websites for at least for the PC. And then I'll look into anything else on the Xbox. I think it's just probably gonna be Xbox. Pretty much go to the store. There's no other place you could go. It's just like GameStop or whatever, your mom and pop GameStop shops, whatever little stores that they have. Support those little stores better than supporting any huge company, like Best Buy or any of those other companies, because I'd rather still buy it from those little shops. Sometimes you pay a little more sometimes, or maybe a few dollars, but like for the most part, those little game stores, they mostly have pretty cool stuff, so you can't even get them at the Target and all those. But
cool. Yeah, you're not gonna find cool.
No.
Or, collect your shit.
Retro games and all that. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely will need to go support the mom and pop shops.
But yeah, well, there you have it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that episode of the podcast. We'll be uploading more soon as well. We'll be talking about different things all the time, and stay tuned for more. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Rumble as well. Most of the time I only stream games there, But if you want to see some gameplay of games, follow me on Rumble. The link should be on my YouTube channel. If anything you don't know, I'll post in the comments. I'll put a link to it. And thank you. Catch you guys in the next one. Thank you. Bye.